about?
Yeah, I don't know why people keep saying we're going late. My phone says 11:58. Hi, everyone.
My phone and computer says 11:58 unless Apple is trying to control time space
Would be just about
continuum.
the only thing they don't control, right?
Wow. Somebody said to me the other day, they just realized that Apple, I have a 21-year-old son, so I knew the pressure that the kids were under. Like, you couldn't have an Android. Like, you were a lame-o if you had an Android. So you have to have Apple and all Apple and everything Apple. Apple headphones, Apple iPad, iPods, Apple tablet, whatever. So my brother has a 16-year-old son, and he was just like, "Yeah, I just figured out, man, Apple's controlling the world. Apple runs all these kids. They don't think anything but Apple is good." And I was like, "Bro, where you been? Like, that's been a decade ago."
Yeah. No, I had two teenagers, and they have iPhones. My daughter has an Apple Watch. They do not have iPads or MacBook Pros or whatever because now
What? You just got them new computers and you didn't do the MacBook?
no, we haven't bought the computers yet. No, I'm not doing the MacBook Pros. Seriously, that this is for my work. So
No,
um,
not the Pro, but you're gonna get them the lower level MacBook,
don't put
right?
pressure on me publicly like that. Yeah, no, no. This is where I answer publicly, absolutely, without question. And in the background, I may or may not do something different.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I'm not. I got this Apple, but it's like, man, and soon they're gonna come out with an Apple car. Boy, that's gonna put some muscle on the world right there. Like an Apple car, like imagine that. Now they'll
okay.
be, yeah.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Yep, we are live from Miami, parts unknown in Miami. We're both in the north, I believe, in the northern section of the very, very large city.
We are absolutely in the northern section.
Yeah, if you count the metropolitan area, it is Saturday, September 23rd. We're not numbering this episode, so number 86 is going to have to wait.
What?
When,
No, I
when we
came
go,
prepared. This is numbered. This is numbered. I did research. I studied. I have my suggestions. This is the first episode I've ever come prepared for a number. We will do a number.
okay, then take it away, Omar. Number 86, then. Go ahead. Who is it?
Number 86. Hold on, let me get to my research here.
Oh, that's awesome. Well done, Omar. Well done.
There are plenty of options to choose from, and a lot of these individuals are guys that change their numbers to other positions. Here are some of my choices. Obviously, is Rondé Gadsden, who had the biggest hands that I've ever seen. His hands are like catcher's mitt. However, I am going to go, and there's also Mac Hollins, who is one of my favorite receivers here, one
Love
of the
him.
top gunners ever in Dolphins history, right along with Walt Aikens. But I'm not going to go there. And then I could also choose Mike Gesicki, who began his career with the number 86.
You have done your research. Very well
I
done.
have done my research, but the individual I'm going to choose is Rashad Matthews. And here's why I'm going to choose
Jesus.
Rashad
Okay.
Matthews. He did begin his number with 86 and eventually changed it to 18. But
Correct.
Rashad Matthews was a 7th-round pick who worked his way and fought and labored his way onto the Dolphins roster, then worked his way and fought and demanded a starting spot. Do you remember the training camp where Devontae Parker was a rookie, a 1st-round pick, and Rashad Matthews practiced so well and was so dominant in training camp that Joe Philbin had to make him a starter or he was going to lose his locker room. I mean, Joe was always on the verge of losing his locker room. But do you remember that camp?
I do remember that camp, and I remember Rashard Matthews was a very solid player. I believe he played at University of Nevada.
Yes, he did. And with Colin Kaepernick.
That's right.
That season before he suffered an injury, I can't remember what the injury was. He was on pace for 1,000-yard season. He finished with 43 receptions for 662 yards and 4 touchdowns. And his exit led to the rise of Devontae Parker. I would still argue to you, Rashad Matthews is a better wide receiver. His career didn't last very long in the NFL because once he got to free agency and he signed with Tennessee, he started kneeling in support of Colin Kaepernick. And once you became a kneeler, you became a kneeler. And
before I jump in, Marcellus makes a good point. Please, everyone, if you're enjoying this, hit the like button, por favor. And we're assuming you already subscribe. since you're here. If you
Yeah.
don't, tell your friends. Omar,
Yes, sir.
very well done. Proud of you. You know what? If we're going to go like maybe best player or more significant, I'm going to go a little bit older school. Freddie Solomon was a wide receiver from the University of Tampa, who was a very good player for the Dolphins, who the Dolphins packaged along with a first-round pick in a trade to the San Francisco 49ers for running back Delvin Williams, who in 1978 rushed for 1,000 yards. I believe it was 1258, set a Dolphin record for most rushing yards in a season, which stood until it was broken in 2002. I'm sorry, in 2002 by Ricky Williams after they acquired him from the Saints. And also the Dolphins didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher between Delvin Williams and when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it as a rookie, I want to say third-round pick in 1996. Hat tip to St. Eddie. Do you think Lamb's performance at left tackle forced Teron Armstead to get back on the field sooner? Too many solid outings from a backup turns up a ton. No, I don't. But Teron Armstead is a. I'm sorry, I'm going to tackle this one first. Teron Armstead is a very well-established four-time Pro Bowl selection. Mm-hmm. He wants to get back because he wants to get back, not because Kendall Lamb is playing very well.
And he hates this perception that he's fragile and durable, even though he's fragile and durable. And he wants to make sure that he's out there for his team, with his team. And he really misses and loves football. But I will say this, and I talked about yesterday where I felt like Kendall Lamb needed to leave on a George Costanza. If you haven't watched that episode, you know, if you're a Seinfeld fan, leave on a high note. Leave the fans wanting more. And I like Kendall Lamb. I really think for those who have been watching this show from episode 1 of training camp, I was like, whoa, I didn't know what to expect from Kendall Lamb, and I didn't expect what I saw the first day. I mean, he was owning Bradley Chubb. And anytime he was at left tackle, he had a good day against Bradley Chubb, except for 1 week.
Correct.
And
which was toward the start of the regular season, which had you and I a little bit worried. Is that going to carry over to the regular season?
Yeah.
Right.
Talked to him. He said he lost his legs that week and he had to get it back under him. But hopefully him and Bradley Chubb are actually good. I think Bradley Chubb kind of silenced some of the critics last week, but this is a big week for him because it's Denver Broncos week, and that's an organization and a franchise that kind of gave up on you. David, we thank you. I see your contribution. I'm always flattered. I just thank you and continue to appreciate everybody who supports us. This is big for us. This is something that we're doing. We never knew what it would turn into. We never knew people would gravitate to it as much as they do. We appreciate it. For those who don't know how this started, Poop and I have watched practice together for many, many years. And as I've always said to people, Poop's one of the only eyes that I trust on the Dolphins practice field. And we've always gotten along and we've always shared thoughts, and we don't always agree. But one thing that we've always gotten
along. I used to hate you. I'm just kidding. I'm playing.
I was about to say, are you like telling me something I didn't know?
I'm playing.
It's, you know, this is just moving what we did privately to a larger format. And I tell you, we talk about it all the time with Barry and Chris Perkins and Adam Beasley and Safid. Literally, if we turned on a live cam and let you see what happens and what gets discussed in the media room, oh boy, would you guys be watching that stuff.
Oh, that would be some fun stuff.
Yeah. Dolphins over the years, they used to put their interns in there to just monitor what our conversations were, just because we're like our testing case for our columns and our thoughts. But understand, a lot of the stuff that you see in print and in publications and on websites, we vetted it out amongst ourselves and our peers, and we have some heated, knockdown, dragged out debates.
Let me jump in. John N., thank you very much. Appreciate it. If the offense keeps performing like it is, do you think McDaniel and Tua have a legitimate chance of being Coach of the Year and MVP? Love the show, boys.
They're both front runners right now. What are you talking about?
Do the ads say McDaniel's front runner for Coach of the Year? I
He was
don't know if
tied
I
with
saw that.
he was tied with
Arthur
Dan
Smith?
Campbell last time I checked.
Dan Campbell.
Dan
Arthur
Campbell?
Smith. Arthur Smith, I would think at 2-0 with the Falcons would be up there. You know what? I have those odds. Omar's gonna. I'm gonna check while we do this because I have the latest odds. I'm not buying the Dan Campbell would be. They're 1-1. Hold Beauchard, thank you very much. Poop, vive les Expos. Awesome, my man. Watched the Dolphins butt punt game against the Bills last night and saw Nick Needham play super blanket defense. What do you think his chances are at coming back at a high level? That's a great question. That's a great
when I see him moving and cutting, I'm at the point where I don't believe he's coming back in a month.
Wow.
I don't he's not moving and cutting.
No, and he's eligible to come off PUP after the fourth game, which is next week at Buffalo. And the other issue is they have a whole lot of wide DBs on the roster. I lost my train of thought there for a second. They have a whole lot of DBs on the roster.
Sorry, a lot of white people. No.
No, maybe they haven't really paid attention, but they have a whole lot of DBs on their roster, and it's not like right now that there's a crying need. Sure, Apple didn't have a great game against the Patriots, but overall, the DB
there might be a change.
Maybe.
Remember, Vic Fangio said, like, I'm. What did he say? He said, like, I'm open or I'm not closed to anything. When we asked about Eli Apple?
Yeah, he kind of like, I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it was kind of suggesting like, yeah, nothing's etched in stone. And by the way, along with the podcast that we do, Omar and I also write a lot of stuff on alldolphins.com for free. And I did a story on Xavier Howard yesterday, which I hope you guys check out because all that was the focus was on the 3 penalties. Actually, it was 2 penalties. It was 1 penalty against the Patriots, had 3 against the Chargers, got 4 on the season, which is bad. But his metrics would suggest Xavier Howard is just perfectly fine right now. So, again, encourage you to check it out. Marsalis, big hat tip to you, my friend. Thank you. For one, I'm glad you do this podcast. It's like modern day Dolphin Digest. Having worked for Dolphin Digest, I'm going to touch that one here.
Didn't you run that Dolphin Digest?
Old newspaper type Dolphin updates, sent it to all my friends who are Dolphin fans too. That's how I started my full-time coverage of the Dolphins in 1989. Dolphin Digest, and I worked on it in one capacity or another until 2021 when I was the editor, at which time I relinquished that position to focus on the online stuff and my work on alldolphins.com. So yeah, it was quite the long run. And in the day, I thought it was very, very useful for Dolphin fans who were out of town. And then the internet came on and everything exploded, and you could get everything possible that you would want on the internet. And it kind of really affected, the business aspect.
Just like I remember, I used to have a publisher with the Sun Sentinel, who basically, this was before he got fired like 10 years ago. And he said, newspapers are going the route of the ice delivery man. Remember, there was a day when we had refrigerators where there wasn't, that the refrigerators didn't make ice and you needed ice to actually keep them cold. And there'd be a delivery man who actually came to your home and delivered chunks of ice like once a week. You tell me, Poop, because you were living in that time.
Wow. No, that's before my time, actually. No, I don't. I hear what you're saying, but no, we never had ice deliveries at our house. I'm old. Right. I'm not that old.
If you say so, Poop. Yeah. So in terms of, I mean, if you just think about it, your telephone right now, you could literally type in anything, and it appears on your phone. And so you could have the amount of information. Me and my wife were having a discussion about Black Wall Street, which if you don't know what Black Wall Street is, please type it into your phone, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was the first fully supported Black city where they supported themselves, didn't need themselves, had their own bank, had their own businesses, had their own everything, and it was destroyed, burned down. And Oprah's network, the O Network, they're doing a documentary about rebuilding Black Wall Street, and I was just so captivated by it. I have to see it. But the point is, in this day and age, like before when I was growing up, and Poop can relate to this, you had to go to an encyclopedia if you wanted to research anything. And if you were rich, you had encyclopedias in your home. I know my parents, man, we bought one book at a time because that was back in the day when you basically bought a computer for the price of a car. But yeah, we bought one book at a time because my parents didn't want to shortchange us on our education, and our encyclopedias were archived in our living room. But that's how we had to have information. And now an encyclopedia is everywhere. It's in your phone.
It's crazy. Well, that's why we pay so much, because that phone is like an encyclopedia. It's a flashlight. It's an alarm clock. It's a camera.
Video. Yeah. And
I'm sorry, Omar. We have to hat tip some people here. Mike, thank you very much. Gabe and Omar, don't forget your point, Omar. But we were going to take precedence of the people who are kind enough to,
contribute. Yes,
to contribute. Gabe's asking, is it realistic for A-Chain to get 10 touches tomorrow? Absolutely, especially if Ahmed doesn't play, which neither Omar or I expect. 10 touches? Yeah. If Ahmed doesn't play, yes, he's getting 10 touches.
Oh, I think I'd go under on that, but he's definitely going to be implemented into the game plan.
Okay.
I think they're going to ride Raheem Morse's hot hand and probably ride him for the next 2 weeks. But I would say 8 is probably the over-under. I think he's going to be a major component in the pass game as well as the run game. This is going to be a showcase game for Devon A-Chain. This is going to be his opportunity to show what he could do before why can't I never remember Jeff Wilson comes back? I never remember Jeff Wilson's name. I don't know why.
Okay, Omar, attack this one. This is funny. Make throwbacks permanent. My dude, I much respect. I mean, this is a guy who is persistent. Oh my Lord, guy or gal, I'm not sure. Do you guys think the Dolphins should make throwbacks permanent? Any rumblings? BTS seems like a lot of fans and players in favor of it. Loving the pod. Thanks again. And Omar, attack that one.
The best way to explain it is they pimp you because you love throwbacks. They sell throwbacks still, and they sell throwback merchandise, and they also sell the new logo merchandise. So if you're selling both, why would you go back to the original and not have the other version there to sell when you could say, oh, these are going to be the 2 throwback games? Here's the throwback merchandise that we're offering up. It's all about money. NFL teams have to change their logo design like every 10 years, last I checked. Or when they change sponsorships to it's Nike now, next time it'll probably be Champions or Reebok or whatever. Fanatics.
They have to or they can.
It depends on who's the highest bid. No, I think they have to. They have to make some alterations to the New Jersey.
Okay. By the way, quick point. Now, say if the Dolphins go back to the throwbacks and make them permanent, would in 5 years these current jerseys become the throwbacks?
People don't like these jerseys.
You're not getting my point. I'm making a.
I get your point, but
play along.
They have to be like romanticized.
I know. That was.
It probably had to be a winning era, which maybe this will eventually be a winning era.
Okay. By the way, while you were talking, I did check, and I was correct. It is Arthur Smith of the Atlanta Falcons who is the current leader, according to Bet Online, for Coach of the Year. He's at 4-1. Mike McDaniel is second at 5-1, and Tua is the leader for MVP.
Not tied with Patrick Mahomes.
Let me check here. Hold on. It's on my screen in the back, so that's why maybe I'm looking.
I'm going to answer a question from Eddie Chaptu. Do you think they're still looking for a running back because of injury? When does the center exchange become a problem? Okay, let's address the first one. I think the Dolphins are always open to trading for a running back and acquiring one. Do I think it makes sense for them now regarding Jonathan Taylor? No, I don't. You would just wait for him at the end of the year. And by the time he's going to be able to contribute, it's probably going to be half the season. Maybe if you're going for a championship run, you consider that. But Right now, this team can't afford to put any more resources. When I say resources, I mean money, into any other position. They really just need some emergency cash for when things start to break down, and you need to fill it with capable players. And right now, you're going to test out Devon A. Chain for the next 2 weeks. Then Jeff Wilson comes back. Raheem Mostert's already shown you that he can carry the workload. He's probably one of the most productive backs in the NFL right now, statistically. So you should be good. In terms of the snapping, I think Connor Williams has got 2 more games before they declare it a problem. You?
Are we banking on Raheem Mostert staying healthy the whole year? Again, and I'm going to go back to the point I made last week, I think it was. There are injuries all over the place in the AFC. Dolphins are off to a 2-0 start. There are only 2 teams in the AFC at 2-0, Dolphins and Baltimore. Do you not want – I understand the idea of preserving, draft capital and money for a rainy day and all that, but do you not at the same time want to go, we're going for it? I don't know. It's –
If you are going for it, what are you giving up?
Yeah, first of all, you're going to have to give up a running back because you're going to have too many in the roster. And if the Colts are amenable to taking back Jeff Wilson Jr., there's your answer. So Jeff Wilson Jr. in a 3.
Okay, that's a fair offer. I would make that offer.
Not Javon Holland in a 2nd. If you know, you know. Or maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know, Omar. Maybe you don't know.
I do know. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Watch Omar's face when Alain interrupts him with this message. Priceless. Life should be the mailbag episode using Super Chat. I'm interrupting because the people who are kind enough to send us donations through the Super Chats should be recognized immediately, not have to wait and not take the chance of not recognizing them.
Why doesn't it come up starred? Oh, okay. I'm looking at it differently.
Comes out shaded, like for example, Finn for Life. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Finn for Life. Just wanted to thank you guys. Appreciate you. Yeah, Josh. So you read those already. Okay, I'm back to the live comments. I'm trying to address the masses. I appreciate everybody who's contributing. As I say, you're taking care of our kids, so that's appreciated. What's the status on Rico Roughrider? What's the status on Cedric Wilson? Is the offense too complex, or is Craycraft and Berrios simply superior? Ooh, Poop. Let you answer that question.
Oh, it's kind of obvious that the other 2 are better players. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's a. I think they're better players. I mean, here's the thing: Cedric Wilson was like I don't want to say bottom of the depth chart player for Dallas's first 3 years, but it was kind of that. And then Dallas had a whole bunch of injuries at wide receiver in 2021. Wilson stepped up. And I recall at the time when the Cowboys had a very good offensive line, which certainly facilitates their passing game. And Wilson had a productive season. And I think his market value then went a little bit haywire. I don't know what other teams were looking to give him, but the Dolphins gave him 3 for 21, which was kind of cray-cray. And then he gets here and got badly outplayed. And then in his defense, I will say this again, and Omar's going to shake his head. It's my prediction. When they signed him, the Dolphins did not have Tyreek Hill. They didn't know they were going to have Tyreek Hill.
Oh, my God. I hate this. I hate this.
But hold on. This also was a time when the Dolphins franchise tagged Mike Gesicki, which they never would have done had they known they were going to get Tyreek Hill, who changed everything about this offense. And then, so now it was a case of Cedric Hill has to make himself earn the 3rd wide receiver spot, which he couldn't do because Trent Sherfield badly outplayed him in training camp last year.
Remember Craycraft too?
Last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct.
And Eric Uzukama.
Well, no, in training camp, yes. In training camp, yes. Correct.
Bro, he's always been the 5th guy. He and that's part of my problem with that whole he wouldn't have played even if they hadn't gotten Tyreek Hill. He's not good.
Yeah, and to me, I don't know about that because I think he would have been given every single solitary opportunity.
When have you seen him be good?
Dude, it's not like he didn't make any plays in training camp last summer. He wasn't great. He never really stood out. I'll grant you that,
Answer
but he made
the
some plays. I
question.
did answer the question. He did make some plays. Not like he was very good when he had a 50-yard punt return in the playoff game at Buffalo. That was very good.
All right, cool. I'll give you that.
Okay. Hold on. Let's take care here. David, thank you very much. Can Tua throw for 300 on Sunday? Absolutely.
I need a cap.
You need a what?
A cap. You keep tipping the cap. I need a cap.
Well, or do this something. Can he do it? Absolutely. Will he do it? I don't know. The weather forecast is not particularly encouraging. It's supposed to be thunderstorms or strong chance of thunderstorms in the 1 and 3 p.m. hours.
Oh, that means it's going to be muggy. I like that.
Well, it's going to be muggy if you got rain, if you got sun after the thunderstorm. The Broncos are going to be hating life. If that happens,
you know there's going to be sun. You know there's going to be sun after the thunderstorms. It's South Florida.
Well, yeah, but that's not what the forecast calls for. It's going to be like I'm looking outside right now, and it's not sunny. It's just kind of overcast, yucky September day in South Florida. So, but yeah, absolutely. There will not be a game where you go into the game saying no, there's no chance to throws for 300.
Without Jalen Waddle, I think it's going to be hard to throw for 300. But anything is possible too.
No Jason Simmons.
Dylan Medina asks, with the trade deadline approaching, do you see us moving on from any players? And if yes, who? Certainly, let me begin this by saying I think any team that wants Emmanuel Ogbah can get him for a ham sandwich and probably
cup of coffee.
Throw in a 7th-round pick. He just doesn't fit this defense. And they are not interested in using him as a defensive lineman. So, and we right now know that Andrew Van Ginkel is the top outside linebacker guy. So unless there's an injury on top of an injury, I just don't see how they're going to utilize Emmanuel Ogbah. Clearly, he's not going to be with this team after the season. They're going to cut him to create $15 million worth of cap space. If some team needs him for the remainder of the season, the Dolphins would love to get that money off their books. That's the bottom line. And you can have him for free if you just want him.
Well, it's not for free because now you're responsible for his $15 million fully guaranteed salary minus the prorated portion of the game.
It's only like $800,000 a game. It's not a big deal.
Okay, now that's 2 games he's played. That's 1.6. So now you still got 13.4 million left.
13.4. I mean,
again, if you're a team that's a defensive end, that's a pass rushing defensive end away from contention, he might make sense. It's going to be painful to pay that kind of money, but Cedric Wilson also could be had for a cup of coffee if a team's willing to,
And his contract is a lot more manageable if you want him, if you need him.
Yeah, it's 5 fully guaranteed. Mr. Dude, you are a dude. Thank you. Who won the Dolphins as a favorable fantasy matchup against Denver? Love this show, guys. I said what I said. Yes, you did say what you said. Who has a favorable fantasy matchup against Denver? Dolphins are tough from a fantasy standpoint.
I don't do fantasy.
I used to be in leagues. No, now nobody wants to invite me in leagues, so I don't do it. And I'm
don't say that. Everybody will invite you in leagues.
I'm so swamped now. I don't even know if I'd have time, but I used to enjoy fantasy football very much. The problem with the Dolphins, it's fun. The problem with the Dolphins is they have too many guys. Tyreek Hill's like a no-duh every week, especially in the PPR, because he's going to catch his passes and he's going to get his yards. This year he's got a touchdown in each game. As far as running back is concerned, I guess Raheem Mostert would be the guy. But outside of that, even when Waddle plays, I mean, Jalen Waddle, like last week, didn't do a whole lot. So, and if you're looking at this matchup with Denver's, got lit up by Sam Howell last week, and now they're missing Justin Simmons, which suggests it'd be big passing numbers. Do we want to go Durham Smythe? Durham Smythe doesn't have a touchdown yet. So it's kind of the obvious guy, Tyreek, and obviously Tua is going to put up his numbers too. So.
Curtis Jonas asks, if you were Ross and you had to replace the GM, who would you replace the GM Chris Greer with? I'm a big Louis Riddick fan. Now, I think Louis Riddick is ever going to get a GM job? No. Do I think he should be a GM? Yes. But it's going to be somebody who can play the game well with the Miami Dolphins. Who that would be, I have no idea. Mike, this owner, Steve Ross, he likes to hire people who are in their first year of doing it, young and hungry. Chris Greer was a guy who had grinded for years in this organization and ultimately got the elevation. But to be honest with you, if something happened to the GM, I feel like Tom Garfinkel would gain more power, and we'd probably just get a GM as a figurehead to basically talent acquisition.
And it's, I don't disagree with you, but it's not happening unless there's a massive collapse this season.
Oh my God, Chris Greer's not getting fired.
A lot of rope. Marsalis, thank you again. I watched some game film on Tua, and on his underthrown balls against the Pats, he's not hitching, or his foot placement is horrible. Can he be coached out of these mistakes? Omar, that's all yours, my man. Marsalis, I love you, buddy, but how dare you criticize? Sorry, go ahead.
I see what you did there. You're not fooling me. On the underthrown pass, I will stand on my ground that Tua was rushed into that throw by the pressure that Austin Jackson allowed.
You got a lot of fans are on your side. I got a lot of pushback on the comments. Like, you're crazy.
I will stand, like, that throw was rushed a hair faster than it should have been. Would it probably still been underthrown? Probably yes. But you know, and here's the thing about underthrown passes, and this is what people have to understand. Quarterbacks are advised to throw deep, under, not over. Make it a catchable ball. Catchable ball can either lead to a PI, a catch, or an interception.
Or a pick in that case.
Yeah. An overthrown ball will either lead to a catch or miss. And listen, if there's anything that Tua does well, anything, it's great ball.
He does everything well. How dare you? I'm sorry, go ahead. I can't help myself.
You can't help yourself. If there is anything he does well, it's his ball placement and where he puts balls. I give you a perfect example of that Tyreek pass for a touchdown. I think it was against the Chargers to win the game. Against the
Chargers, it was Michael Davis as a cornerback who never turned around for a ball that was literally an inch over his helmet. But let's keep talking about ball placement on that throw. Can I jump in?
Hold on. How many times have you seen Tua throw those passes in red zone work?
He throws it very well. The quality of that pass to me was insanely overblown, which doesn't change the fact that Tua is very accurate. He's got great touch on those throws.
He's good at that. Admit he's good at that.
I just said he's great at those throws, and this is where
he corrected himself. He didn't even say good. He said great. Tua is great.
Got great touch at those. Then this is where my issue is always with Tua Nears and Tua Nears with me is that it's the praise is never enough, or if he does something wrong, you have no right to criticize him. Here's the thing I have said, and I'm going to keep saying it because you said he's got great ball placement. He does not have great ball placement on deep throws. It's inconsistent. And if we're going to go ahead and go, well, what about that pass to Tyreek Hill against the Chargers? It was absolutely awesome. Okay, take me out on an NBA court. I'm going to make a three-pointer one time. Does that mean I'm a great three-point shooter? No, it's the consistency. On that throw, he got a lot of torque on his body, and he showed an arm strength on that particular throw that we have never seen from Tua. Okay?
Hold on.
Consistently, the arm strength is not there when he goes deep. So if his foot placement is not consistently good, the ball is going to take a while to get there, and this is what happened. And even on the throw to Tyreek, it looked to me like his feet were set against the Patriots on the pick.
Are we going to judge his foot placement? See, this is where
I thought his foot placement was fine on that particular throw.
Okay, no, but on every throw, we're going to quarterbacks underthrow. And I say this, I remember I said this last season when the ball placement police were criticizing Tua's deep throws, and then I was watching a Monday night game, and Patrick Mahomes was for the Chiefs was underthrowing his playmakers. And You don't hear a single word about those. They were catching it. You don't hear a single word.
Consistency. Can do it consistently. And that's the thing. By the way, I need
who led the league? Who led the league in big play production, yards per attempt?
Receivers wide open downfield 20 yards.
And that was, and then now this year.
Omar,
like, y'all gonna put some respect on that man's name and his ball placement.
The stat is 20 yards downfield. That's not a deep ball in my definition. By the way, somebody was pointing out that ball was indefensible. Look at the replay, and Michael, it's indefensible because Michael Davis never ever turned around. Xavier Howard, when he was covering Devontae Parker on Sunday night, it's a pass down the sideline. Did X just stare at the receiver the entire time, or did he turn around? Oops, maybe I'll turn around, look at the ball, and he got a pick. Don't tell me that ball was indefensible.
Don't compare anybody to X. You're gonna get a lot of people in trouble. Tell them to do what X does. Don't do what X does this week against Russell Wilson. Don't start peeking in the backfield. Nobody. Don't do it.
No, I don't disagree with you. I'm saying that the idea that ball was indefensible to Tyreek Hill and that touchdown pass against the Chargers, to me, with all due respect, is ridiculous. That's all.
I'm laughing
at straws.
Tuanon is going to find it. I said Tuanon is going to find this.
That's fine. I said what I said.
I'm not scared of Tuanon.
It's not an issue. I'm not compromising my beliefs or what I say, just to not incur the wrath of a group of fans who absolutely cannot accept anything but unadulterated, unquestioned praise. Sorry. Tua's playing great. He's the MVP runner-up. The MVP front runner right now, according to the odds. Stop pretending he's perfect. Okay, sorry.
Hey,
Kelly, paying for you to stop hating us. Kelly, that's funny. I don't hate Tua. I don't hate Tua.
He doesn't.
I hate this notion from some of his fans that he can never do anything wrong. And in 2020 and 2021, when his performance wasn't nearly what it is now, the reason was everything around him. And now that he's balling out, it's just Tua. And how dare we say that the other players deserve credit? Come on, man. You can't have it both ways. But Kelly, thank you for the donation, and thank you for making me laugh. That was funny. And no, again, for the record, I do not hate Tua in the least. He's a good kid. He's playing lights out quarterback right now.
He's the chosen one.
Chris. Wow. Chris. Man. And you know what? It's a good thing for me. I was not a Broncos reporter in 2011 during Tebow Mania. I'd have gone. I would have lost all the.
But hold on. There's a difference. You just compared Tebow to Tua. Tebow sucked. Tua is elite.
In terms of the fanaticism is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yes,
all right. Tua was 17 times better than Tebow.
Yeah, Tebow sucks.
Tebow is a winner. Tebow, and this is a phrase you use. Tebow has it. Come on. When the guy's throwing duck after duck after duck, and that 2011 defense balled out like crazy, turnover. Anyway, we digress. Greg, what's up, guys? Thank you very much.
Tua has it.
Moving on. Greg, what's up, guys? Thank you very much. Do you think the Dolphins make another attempt for Jonathan Taylor, seeing Kyle Shanahan and McCaffrey working out so well? Do you think it is worth giving up some capital for him?
They're not the same player, though. McCaffrey, if you were telling me that you're going to go get – I like Jonathan Taylor. I think he's a good player. I think he's a talented weapon. A Swift is a similar player to McCaffrey. John Taylor's a good player, but he's not the same kind of weapon that McCaffrey is. So do I see them going after him again? I think I see them having conversations because Chris Greer can't help himself. Do I see them pulling the trigger on those conversations? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if it's the move that puts them over the hump. I really don't. Do you think it's the move that puts them over the hump?
Puts him over. What might put him over the hump is continuing to play like this throughout the season, and avoiding the catastrophic injury. McCaffrey is a different level in terms of everything he does. Jonathan Taylor, I'm looking at his receiving numbers. If I do my math correctly, he's 35 catches a year, and he had the crazy rushing season in 2021. I think, again, they're not going to do anything until Taylor's off PUP, which can't happen until next week.
After next week.
Correct. After next week. I don't think there's a need to rush anything right now. The trading deadline is what, November 1st?
Yeah, I think you give it some time. You buy yourself some time. You buy yourself some patience. You see how Jonathan Taylor handles the situation in Indianapolis. He's going to have to play in order to get a vested season, I think. I'm not 1,000% sure on that.
I believe you're right.
How does he force his way out of Indianapolis? Does he feel like, we would love to see him on the field and do it, because I hate to bring this up, but Dalvin Cook doesn't look like Dalvin Cook right now. And maybe that's a little bit of rust. Maybe that's a little bit of he got there late. Maybe that's a little bit of he's not the perfect fit for the offense. Go ahead.
Maybe it's the fact that the Jets' offensive line isn't great to begin with, and now there's no threat of a passing game because Zach Wilson's a quarterback.
Yeah, that could be it as well. So, it's so many factors when you move a player into a different offense, which is why you see Mike McDaniel lean on things and people that he knows. Jeff Wilson, somebody he knows. Raheem Mostert, somebody he knows. River Craycraft, somebody that he knows. River Craycraft. Braxton Berrios played in a similar offense with the Jets. Not to say that it's seamless. Same thing with Mike White. The one thing that I have learned about this organization and this team is literally their play calling is long, extensive, and their offense is complex. And they continue to build and add to that offense. And it's stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. And you can't just show up and then be like, oh, okay, I'm ready to go in 3 weeks. That's why rookies generally don't play.
No, correct. And point that needs to be made also is the running game also is going to benefit from the fact that defenses are so scared of getting beat deep because of Hill and Waddle. So
it'll be interesting to see how that changes this week if Waddle doesn't play.
No, correct. So I don't know that there's a crushing need for Taylor right now, especially after Mostert had a big game against the Patriots. Somebody's asking, True Lewis, can we get a couple first-round picks for Armstead if this O-line holds up? No, not even. You're not getting even one first-round pick for Armstead, who is expensive, who is on the older side, and who has broken down. So love Armstead, great guy, great player. You're not sniffing a first-round pick for him in a trade.
It's so wonderful to see like what this offensive line can be and become, because I believe they can have a unicorn-esque type of successful season. I've seen it going back to the exhibition season. You saw it trending up, going back to the how the success they had in opening up running lanes. You see the balance on the offense. It's kind of 50-50. If you take this away, we can do that. They're a very well-balanced team. I looked at the season. I looked at this offense, and I thought tight end would be kind of their weakness. And then you see what Durham Smythe does in the season opener. Whatever you decide to take away from them, they're going to something else. And generally, that something else is working. And so this can, without a doubt, be a top 5 offense this season. If Tua can stay healthy, of course.
Dude, it was 6 last year. That's not that. I mean, we're not. To me, I'm going to say it again, and this is where, and then I'm going to duck. Everything feeds off the threat of the 2 guys outside, and they open up so many things.
We will learn that against Denver. We will learn that against Denver.
Before we move on, I want to take care of. Hold on, Omar. Before we move on, I want to take care of my buddy Dana, who asked me on a DM a very good question. The injury list was created to give teams, fans, and gamblers transparency. Now it seems it's used for the opposite. Some players who aren't hurt are listed every week. For example, Tom Brady, and some players are listed as questionable every week and miss the entire season, such as Byron Jones. Byron Jones was on PUP, so that doesn't apply. Is it time to get rid of it altogether because it doesn't serve the purpose it was created for anymore? You want to attack it? Or want me to go first?
No, I think it does indeed serve the purpose that it's created for. I think you need a little bit more scrutiny in terms of the Saturday updates. I think teams should have to designate, leave it the way it is. Leave some mystery for game day. It's all gamesmanship. I think if we're going to heighten it, produce an injury report on Monday. But But they don't care about the fans and the public. They
No,
don't
and
care about
they do it only because it's required. They trust me. Teams wouldn't have any depth chart. They wouldn't have injury reports if it was up to them.
It would go to the realm of college, which I hear University of Miami and the ACC, they don't have to produce a injury report. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You know how much that's going to impact gambling? Like, let's not pretend like this is entertainment. This is money. It's big business. I bet you the SEC has to produce an injury report.
That's your research project. I did my research project on Jalen Phillips. You do that one. I go back to the days. I don't remember exactly when it was. Now it's like basically a participation report on Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday you get the game status designation. Used to be from the start of practice for the week, Wednesday, every player who was injured would have a designation. Would be and then they had probable back then. They don't have probable anymore. It would be probable, questionable, doubtful, or out. You would get that. You get a full set of this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And you would know guys would be declared out on Wednesday immediately. Now they stopped doing that. Now everything is Friday. And I don't know exactly what the requirements are. I'm sure there are like very specific rules in terms of players, of teams having to declare guys out if you know they're not going to play. But I don't know exactly what they are, because who's to say, for example, maybe the Dolphins know very well now, because again, I don't know what everything that's entailed in it, but yeah, no. And again, the term competitive advantage, teams want to reveal as little as possible while staying within the rules. Am I right?
I'm researching.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm sorry. Here we go. Poupart and Omar tomorrow calls for a lot of rain. How do you think Miami will do in a game? We must run the ball.
No, I want to throw.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Unless it's crazy rain where the ball's tough to hang on to, the rain actually helps the offensive players, because as the DBs would tell you, the receiver knows where he's going, the DB doesn't. He has to react to the cuts, which puts more stress. You take one wrong step and whoop, you slip, and the guy's wide open.
Yeah. Yes.
That's he's saying.
I'm trying to find it, but I quit to get back to being a good person who answers questions.
There you go.
Paying you to stop talking about Tua.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what happened?
I was reading Kelly H's comments. I'm paying you to stop talking about Tua.
Stop talking about Tua, or stop hating Tua?
Stop hating Tua. I'm sorry.
Stop hating Tua, exactly. That's why I said I don't hate him. Oh, by the way, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about, I don't know who it was you think you were talking about, Bradley Chubb and wanting to play well against the Broncos. I did the complete game preview today for alldolphins.com, and I didn't realize, I knew a little bit, I didn't realize just how many members of the Dolphin coaching staff used to work in Denver. Vic Fangio, Ronaldo Hill, Mike McDaniel, Wes Welker, Butch Barry, Rob Slowick, the outside linebackers coach. They have another one who was like an offensive assistant. It's like, holy moly. And for the history buffs out there, those who like Dolphin history, Mike McDaniel's first game as a coaching intern with the Denver Broncos was in 2005. Do you know who the Denver Broncos opened the 2005 season against? The Miami Dolphins at this stadium here, which was then known as, I don't know if it was Pro Player Stadium. I don't remember. This was Nick Saban's first ever game as Dolphins head coach, and the Dolphins won 34-10 with Jason Taylor scoring on a fumble return on the last play of the game to like put the final exclamation point on the win.
34-10. That seems like a blowout.
Yeah. Very astute there, Omar. Actually, as I recall, it was a very close game for most of the first half, and then it went very well for the Dolphins, and it went completely off the rails for the Broncos. And I think Jake Plummer might have been their quarterback at the time. So, I mean, all sorts of. Oh, and you know what never brought up this week, which is interesting.
What's that?
The last time the Dolphins faced the Broncos, 2020 in Denver, head coach was Vic Fangio. And if you recall, that was the game that Tua was pulled at halftime or early in the third quarter for Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they wound up losing 20-13. And now
I remember him being asked about that, and he asked about that during training camp, or because it was about going against Vic Fangio defense, and he was basically like, "Yeah, I couldn't read it like back in my first early in my career, and now I can read it better." What I've always found interesting about Tua's comments about Vic Fangio's defense is he's learning a lot about how defensive players communicate from going with against Fangio defense, and it's helping him to identify more tells. Like Tua really pays attention to how defenders communicate, and what he gets from that, I don't know because I've never had the opportunity to ask him that question. Um, but he really is obsessed about how defenders communicates, and I'm assuming that tells him something.
Yeah, and this is the part where I'm gonna stick up for Tua a little bit too. In that 2020 game, the offensive line was, to quote Omar, booty cheeks, and
When
it wasn't just on him. He wasn't given the shot. Troy Jesse hat tip. Omar do hat tip or whatever variation. Do you agree Tua is laser accurate between the numbers? His challenge is seeing the field due to his height. OL has to create throwing lanes. Tua is very, 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 very impressive with the accuracy between the numbers. I've always said that. I've never denied that.
and I've always
That's his bread and butter right there.
Yeah, I've always found it very interesting that he openly admits that he can't see the field and he throws to spots. And I'm just
But
like,
why is that? Why is that a newsflash? He's 6 feet throwing behind offensive linemen who are 6'5" or 6'6".
and that's why you don't draft 6-foot quarterbacks. But generally, yes,
Correct.
Generally you would like for a quarterback to be able to see over his line, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing, that's a bad thing, but I've never heard anybody ever admit it. Like, oh, I can't see. I can't see over the line. I just throw spots. And I'm just like, and he said that over and over. He said that this week. And I'm just like, I'm always like amazed that you make that confession.
But it's like, I mean, I know people ran away with it last year when he said it, and I'm like, no, duh. I mean, duh. And the Dolphin offense is based on rhythm and timing,
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's operating right,
he doesn't throw, and people don't understand that. He doesn't throw to receivers.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yes, okay. If a play breaks down, he's throwing to a receiver. But generally, too, if in rhythm, when the offense is in rhythm, Tua's throwing the spots.
Yeah. No,
and a lot of times when you see like that that interception that you saw in the scrimmage where Tyreek was on the play and Noah Igbenogany, it's like clearly there was a miscommunication because Tua is just not randomly throwing the ball to Noah Igbenogany. He's throwing the ball to a spot, and the wide receiver just didn't miscommunicate, didn't make the right read, didn't go to the spot, and clearly he's going to take the blame for it. But sometimes the interception is not on him because he's throwing to an area where he's expecting his receiver to be.
Correct. And that's one thing about interceptions you see in a stat box. It's always going to it's on the record of the quarterback. It's not always on the quarterback.
Just like wins and losses.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you. Oh man, you made my day. I'm like, I'm a little bit camp right now.
It's inside knowledge. Me and Poop fight about that at least once a week. The wins and losses go on a QB's ledger. They just do. They go on a QB and a head coach's ledger. Me and Poop will fight to the death about that because he does not agree that wins and losses go to quarterbacks.
Because it and again, I'm going to preemptive strike. Those are going to say, "Well, you're just hitting on Tua." I'm not hitting on Tua, and if you
believes that for every quarterback.
Hold on, but you're correct. You're going to come at me saying it's discrediting Tua to like mention other factors when in his 5-0 records against Belichick, for example, when his passer rating is under 90. And to me, I'm going to say you're being disrespectful for the rest of the team for the contributions they made in those wins, which I would argue in that 5-0 record.
Xavier Howard won one.
Correct. They rushed for 250 yards in another one. They scored 2 defensive touchdowns in another one. They scored another defensive touchdown in the opener last year at Hard Rock Stadium when they went 20-7, and they scored 3 points in the second half. And on Sunday night, they scored 7 points in the second half. Okay, so absolutely Tua contributed, no question about it. But this idea of like, again, it's a team. There's no bigger team sport than football. And that's to like zone in on the quarterback for one loss record to me is like, I'm sorry. Jay Fiedler, by the way, Jay Fiedler had a 610 winning percentage as a Dolphin quarterback. And I like Jay Fiedler. I hope this doesn't come as disrespectful. But would anybody say he was a great quarterback? I mean, come on.
The disrespect.
I couched it by saying I like Jay Fiedler was a great dude. But he was can we say he was a serviceable quarterback?
Okay, serviceable. I was saying, sound like you're going to call him a mediocre quarterback. No, you're just going to say serviceable. Okay. The disrespect, man. Jeez.
What happened now?
I've just lived in two things about quarterbacks that I'm just not changing or fully believe. I believe in passer rating. It's a computation and a formula that I like, and I like NFL's, not ESPN's. You can keep that garbage. And
I agree with that one there. That QBR is like,
yeah. Wins and losses are on quarterbacks. I'm sorry. When you eat up 40% of the cap, I'm sorry, you're going to take 30% of the cap. You're going to
take Mike McDaniel comment. Quarterbacks do not win games. Quarterbacks can lose games. Mike McDaniel himself said that.
That's true. Okay. And I heard what he said, and I'd argue with him. Well,
can I respond to somebody who just said, like, I guess I'm going to guess it's directed at me, but I want to address this here. If record a QB stat, I hope y'all mention, I'm not sure I get this actually, 0-4 in December last year. I guess that's for you, Omar. If the record's a QB stat, I hope you all mention 0-4 in December last year.
I don't hide from it. Right. When December gets here, we'll be addressing it. Yeah, they backed into the playoffs. Lived in. Somebody asked, check. What do you call a Miami Dolphins sports bar? I'm confused.
Is that like a riddle?
I don't know. If I like Bo Campers, just by the way, Bo Camper wings are phenomenal. I'm a big wing fan. If you got good wings, I'm actually looking for good tacos.
Like, can I be a smart ass for a second?
Yeah.
Because I like being a smart ass. I'm sorry, I got Game New Jersey. Sorry, I have to do it. Looks like Joe Burrow will not play Sunday. You're right, he will not play, nor will anybody on the Bengals team because they play Monday night. Sorry. I'm a jerk. Sorry, they play Monday night, and then no, it does not look like Joe Burrow is going to play.
He's injured. You should need to get him right.
On that note, Tua doesn't lose us games. That's fair. Although there have been games where they wasn't great, but for the most part, absolutely, you're 100% correct. Hey guys, do you realize how lucky you are to cover Mike McDaniel? I watched Sean Payton's presser the other day. Oh my God, I'm so happy to watch McDaniel. I don't think I will venture out of Miami again. Yeah, that's half and half around the league. I mean, Dan Campbell in Detroit's fabulous. Sean Payton's rough. Bill Belichick's rough. Trying to think of other ones. I think Ron Rivera's not bad, but some of them are like, yeah, very tight-lipped.
Mr. Torres, T. Torres asked, what does Sunday's game make you nervous? Come on now. Let's go Dolphins. What about Sunday's game makes you nervous?
Two things. Actually, more than one. Russell Wilson, who's back to playing well.
Mm-hmm.
You got this speedster rookie second-round pick, Marvin Mims Jr. Had 2 catches last week. Only 2, not impressive, but 62 and 53 yards or something like that. And then Jerry Jeudy, who is more removed from the injury that slowed him at the start of the season. If he's back to being more Jerry Jeudy, and then with Cortland Sutton also, that's a challenge for the pass defense. And then if the weather gets bad, those can get fluky. You can get fluky turnovers.
What makes me nervous is playing without Jalen Waddle and how that forces the offense to evolve. We'll learn later today whether or not Robbie Chosen is going to be activated. I think Chosen is the only person that can keep the offense status quo, but I'm not necessarily certain that they need to keep the offense status quo because they've got a lot of different tools in their tool shed. What also makes me nervous is Teron Armstead actually being taken, having the bubble wrap taken off and putting him out there on the field. And I know he's a Pro Bowl tackle, but it's nerve wracking when you see him out there and any possible little play can land him on IR. And as we know with aged players, it's true. Is it not true? With aged players, it's hard to come back from injuries. And when you're going out there and you're playing and you're not playing fully healthy, other things are compensating for what the issue is. And my fear is, I'm like talking myself out of playing him. I think he's ready. I think he wants to play. I think Mike McDaniel says, unless I get a red light, he's got the green light. So I expect him to play, but it does make me nervous. Doesn't it make you nervous? I know we can't keep him in bubble wrap all season.
Correct. I mean, it's going to be the same way no matter when he comes back. So,
I mean, but the guy got injured like 3 times last year, right?
Yes, he did.
Like,
no. Unfortunately, when you signed him, it kind of came with the deal.
It did. I'm curious to see if they're going to try to shake him down and take a pay cut next year, because
no, you make a good point. How about I throw out a little stat here? I did some research this morning. 4th time in Dolphin history, they will go into a game at 2-0 facing an 0-2 team. And historical precedent says it's looking good because they're 3-0 in those games. Last one happened in 2018. They beat the Oakland Raiders 38-20. That was a game where Jakeem and Albert Wilson were high-fiving down the field near toward the end of a long touchdown. 1996 against the Jets, 1984 against the Buffalo Bills.
Mark Lever asked a question to you, Poop. Can you tell me if you think our defense would be a top 5 unit this year with Jalen Ramsey?
Too early to tell. To be honest with you, it's too early to tell. While the defensive line played better against New England, I didn't see dominance up front, and that's kind of a prerequisite to have like a top 5 defense.
Too early to tell. I would love for them to blend some of what they did under Brian Flores and Josh Boyer with what they're doing under Vic Fangio. I expected more from Vic Fangio's defense, and I get it. It's early, and we've only seen it against 2 opponents, but it's a little bit too passive for me. And I was having this conversation with 2 Dolphin fans I saw at a Waffle House this morning. Yes, I love Waffle House. It's a fine, wonderful establishment.
I like Waffle House.
We're just so used to seeing aggressive defensive, seeing a defense that basically is like, we're just going to give you everything in front of us. Go ahead, take it. And eventually you're going to make a mistake. I'm just not used to seeing that. But I did find it very interesting, a comment that Vic Fangio said. I don't know if I could quote it accurately. We blitz. It's good to blitz when you want to, not because you need to, or something like that. And so to be effective on defense, he would like to do it without blitzing. And then he'd like to blitz when he'd want to, not because he needed to. And that's get pressure with 4. That's, cover the back end with whatever. Don't leave people naked out there like Josh Boyer's defense did time and time again. So it's, and you got to hit when you blitz. You got to hit. You got to. If you blitz and you're not pressuring or speeding up the quarterback's process, it's gonna be ugly. So yeah.
I'm a big fan of all-out attack defenses. I think you make things happen, and yes, there's risk involved, and this is why you need to have. when you have Jalen Ramsey on one side, Xavier Howard on the other, and when they had Byron Jones at times when he was playing well, that made the Dolphin defense very effective when they were all attack blitzing. When the Bears 85 defense, which was completely outrageous, I mean, they were just relentless. I mean, they just kept sending people after people and more people than offenses could block. And for the most part, the results were completely outrageous, except for the one game when they played at the Orange Bowl in a Monday night game where the Dolphins found the answer for it, which basically to go 3 wide receivers with Nat Moore joining the Marks brothers, and Dolphins blew them out. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of Dolphin fans when I say that it was an insane shame that the Dolphins lost the AFC Championship game against New England that year at the Orange Bowl, because not only obviously it cost us the Dolphins a chance to go to the Super Bowl, but it also prevented a rematch of that Monday night game, which would have been very cool to see. Mm-hmm. There's another thanks coming. Hold on one second. Another hat tip. John O'Connell, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Great Saturday Dolphins chat. And FSU losing, LOL.
FSU losing. Yeah, I don't want to interrupt anybody's college football watching. I've also got a 3-year-old birthday party to go to for my good friend Cam Wolf and his daughter, nice. Celebrating her 3rd birthday. Yeah, you would have got an invite if you had a toddler and you wanted to go on a water slide. So I apologize.
What makes you think I don't want to go on a water slide myself? Oh, sorry. My kids actually, no, they're not water sliding. I'm saying my kids are in Orlando right now with their mom. They're doing Epcot today. So,
I had that conversation with you privately, and I'll take it public. I am not a Disney person, and I refuse to go. When I do go, my daughter will be at least 8, so she could remember, so I don't have to go again.
Okay. That's funny.
Disney. When I was 8, I went, and it was a horrible place and a horrible experience for me. Yeah. I do not like. It's probably the reason why I do not like lines, and I do not like waiting.
Who likes lines? Nobody likes lines.
And that whole get the fast pass, get this pass, get the go through the secret tunnel. Come on, bro. I gotta do all that to go to a park. Like, no.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you guys for the hard work. We do work hard. I don't know if you work well, but we work hard. I'm playing. We do good work. And so I certainly hope you guys enjoy the hard work that we do. Know that whatever we say about any player or whatever, and I speak for myself, there's nothing ever personal. Mm-hmm. Ever. Okay. I call it as I see it. You may disagree with me all you want. That's perfectly fine. I've done this a while. So
I'm guilty. Sometimes I will make things personal. But I'm clean. The slate is clean. I don't have any beefs.
Right, no, okay, there you go.
I don't have any beefs. So nothing is personal, and I always want the Dolphins to succeed because when they succeed, I do better. So
it's absolutely better for all of us. Marcellus came with a good, and again, thanks again, Marcellus. Omar, not a Disney person unless Disney wants to sponsor the podcast. Omar will be wearing Mickey ears if Disney sponsors.
Yeah, if Disney sponsors the podcast, I'm wearing Mickey ears. Absolutely. Why is it such a big deal? Alan Taylor asked, why is it such a big deal made over the short final run for New England last week? However, nothing is being said about the illegal play for their second touchdown and also lack of forward progress from Mike Gesicki before the lateral. Like, that's last week. I'm not even worried about it. I mean,
all I'm going to say is this. FSU baby, happy you guys have the super chat up and running. I'll be supporting. Thank you very much. I will say about this. Yeah, they blew the call. They blow calls. Refs blow call all the time. And this is not me hating or whatever. Look at the Braxton Berrios punt return on the play before Raheem Mostert had a long touchdown run. If you remember, Matthew Slater's on the ground bitching to the officials. Well, watch the replay, and he got shoved in the back. And they didn't call it. So guess what? Officials will miss calls. There's no great conspiracy against the Dolphins. There's no great conspiracy for the Patriots and all that. Officials miss calls all the time. It's really aggravating. and a lot of stuff can be reviewed, which is one of my gripes against instant replay, because a lot of official misses can be reviewed. So it's SOL, you're out of luck. And then certain things can be corrected. So it's humans making mistakes, calling plays. And if you've ever been close to the field, I've been on the field when the reporters used to be allowed on the field in the last 6 minutes of an NFL game. It is crazy, stupid, crazy how fast things are moving. So I make concessions to officials. It's really easy when we're watching on TV. Oh man, how can they miss that call? It goes fast when you're at field level. So again, yeah, they blew the call, no question about it. And absolutely, Omar disagreed with me. Cole Strange was stopped short of the first down marker. But was it, again, this was one of those where he was given the first down at first. They went upstairs because it's the last 2 minutes and they reviewed it. Can anybody say it was 100% clear that he did not get the first down? Really? Don't know. I think it was, but was it?
Mm-hmm.
That's right there.
Mr. T. Torres 78 asked a great question. He said, I said that some of the stuff in practice that you really liked haven't been used yet. You think they will use it in Buffalo? That's a phenomenal question. One, yeah, I'm saving a lot for Buffalo. I'm saying Buffalo gonna get a can of ass whoop. Like Buffalo's gonna unleash. They're gonna unleash all the stuff because obviously this team is built to beat Buffalo. But in training camp, and I said this very early on, and a lot of my peers disagreed, and I argued against it. And I said, I feel like this offense is experimenting. They're testing the boundaries. They're seeing what is possible. They're seeing the capabilities of all the things that they could try. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Okay, this didn't work. We don't like the way this looks. Let's cross this out. What if we add this to this? What if we do this with this and put this in that motion? And so in training camp and the joint practices and the exhibition season, I felt like the offense was sort of like a chemist in a lab, sort of putting this here and tinkering with this there and seeing. And so while everybody's like, oh, the offense doesn't look good, it doesn't look the same, I was like, let's like 1 week we're working on the tight end stuff. 1 week we're working on some fullback plays. 1 week we're perfecting our red zone. Okay, can we throw these passes in the red zone? What does Tua need? Does he need this player going here? Yesterday, I watched them work on a specific red zone throw that I promise you I'll see in the game. And
can't describe it. Can't describe it.
I'm not going to say describe it, but they were working on such finite detail about that route. I was like, yeah, okay, I can see this. I can see this working. And they find something about a player, just like the Patriots knew about Miami's long snapper and his tail that triggered when the ball's getting snapped. They find something about a player and they try to exploit that.
It was funny. You started your answer by going, that's a great question. I thought you were going to go, that's a great question, and I wish I could answer it. I'm going to get back to you on that. Cameron. Randy Rogers, hat tip to you, my friend. Thank you very much. Another great episode. What are your thoughts on Ingold's fine? What could he have done differently? We forgot to ask Ingold in the locker room yesterday about his appeal.
That takes a while. That's weeks.
Not unless things change. It's like by the end of the week, they have a hearing. What could he have done differently? Technically,
nothing.
Technically, lead with the shoulder more because it was very tame compared to what happens during the course of a game. If you want to get technical, yeah, there was helmet to helmet contact, and I guess they got him for like leading with the helmet. I don't think it wasn't like he was going like a ram.
He's a fullback. That's his job.
Right. So what could he have done differently? Who knows? Maybe turn his body to make sure the shoulder is the first point of contact. But it seemed like a little bit ticky-tack to find that.
Devin Barry said, tell us your craziest home stadium story. Wow. How did you know that the comment just came up like instantly, like on my screen? Is it on your screen?
Last one I have is
Do
no.
you see? Do you see? Oh yeah, you're pulling it up.
What are you talking about?
It's the
Oh,
comments on the.
NFL referees get graded and reviewed every single play. They don't perform, they lose their jobs, period.
You do that?
I did not do that. That's interesting. Oh, no, I don't know. That's interesting.
Oh, we got to figure out how that's getting done. Oh, look at the next one. Like,
Whoa, look at that.
who is doing this?
That's me. I'm clicking on it. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
There you go.
We did not know this. All right.
We are learning on the fly. Anyway, by the way, we're just like the Dolphin offense in training camp. We're experimenting things. So when we make mistakes, it's strictly because we're experimenting. Omar, tackle that one. Obviously, it's the rest of you. So,
I don't. Do you have one? I don't have any good home. Like people. I used to go, and this is going to be unique for me because I'm doing the pregame show at WQAM. Hopefully, you guys will listen. We're on 560 WQAM for 4 hours before kickoff, and then I'll actually be making my way to the stadium. So I'll actually get there after kickoff. So, but I've always enjoyed going out with the fans, and the fans always have been great to me, home or on the road. Dolphin fans, I always feel the love and feel respected and appreciated. I do like, my favorite is I used to like to go out and tailgate with Miko, and I forget what her friend's name is. And they have such a great tailgate. So go do that. Scuba Doug. Man, Scuba Doug, this is another guy I know from Twitter. Scuba Doug used to have awesome tailgates. Good friend of mine that I've met on Twitter and became friends on Twitter. So that was those were awesome experiences, and I just enjoy watching the fans. I like watching the fans actually go to the game and seeing what jerseys. I always look for what's the weirdest jersey I can find. Like who will rock a John Beck jersey to a game. I think there should be like a week where you just have no shame and rock your most embarrassing jersey. But like that should be like a Dolphins. That should be a Dolphins event.
Devin, thank you very much. Love the show, guys. What's your score predictions for tomorrow's Dolphins Broncos game? Before Omar, you have to answer. You get to think about it a little bit. I did a complete preview on alldolphins.com. Wish you guys would check it out. I mean, it's complete and it's pretty good. And I predicted a score in that game.
It's pretty good if you may say so yourself.
If I may say so myself, and I'm almost inclined to say, you know what, guys, check it out on alldolphins.com. But Devin, you made it. You made a donation, so it wouldn't be right to do that. I predicted Dolphins 29, Broncos 27.
I am going to go with Dolphins 24, Broncos 17. I don't think that this will be a close game. I really just don't think that the Broncos have the talent to match up with Miami. And the bottom line is do not let Russell Wilson beat you deep. I think Russell's still a scrambler, but I think he can't afford to take hits anymore. So this could be a game where Russell's going to try to stay out in the pocket and play hot pocket with the ball. Just taking there's something about when quarterbacks age that, especially when this is for those who have followed me for a while, I don't like scrambling quarterbacks, and I wouldn't put Russell Wilson in the scrambling quarterback category. I generally do not like scrambling quarterbacks because there's a line of delineation where there's a certain point where after you've taken so many hits, you're not going to want to do that no more. And
so you don't like Lamar Jackson?
No, I don't like Lamar Jackson. I would not have drafted Lamar Jackson. I do not believe Lamar Jackson. If you have to be a passer first. What's that face for?
Is this the part where I throw out the stat?
What's that?
You do know he has a higher career passer rating than a certain beloved quarterback in South Florida, right? For the record.
Okay, cool. And that's because defenses have to play him completely different.
Wow.
And
again, let me couch this by saying I do not believe Lamar's a better passer than Tua. I think the perception of Lamar Jackson not a good passer is absolute garbage.
I did not say that he was not a good passer. What I'm saying is he's going to have to evolve into a passer. And that's what I don't like. I don't like the transition where quarterbacks go from runner, like the Chicago's quarterback. Never would have drafted him, ever. never will believe he's going to be good ever. And you got to figure that out for yourself as a team. I do not like scramble first quarterbacks because ultimately, when things break down, you know what they want to do? They want to run.
Of course.
And and that gets old and it wears out. And you're eventually going to have to Randall Cunningham-esque evolve. And if you cannot evolve, you're done.
Damn it, I can't. Armello, thank you very much. I'm trying to highlight. See, I don't know how to do this. It's showing up at the top of my screen. I'm trying to highlight it so it shows up prominently here to recognize a donation, and it's not doing it.
G-Firm, we appreciate you. I got 3 names to brand
our
offense with. Sorry. The greatest show on surf, nah. The Aquaman or Fast Life. Any thoughts? They don't do it for me. The names just gotta. It's got to be something tied to Mike McDaniel and swagginess.
Well, the greatest show on surf is a takeoff on the Rams offenses of the.
I ain't trying to be the Rams. Like,
but they are the Rams in the sense that they're stupid fast. I don't like the Aquaman. Sorry, Fast Life. I don't like that. Sorry. And we shouldn't be knocking suggestions when. There's a donation to companies.
G-Firm, I appreciate you. I'm just telling you, go back to the lab, work on something swaggy.
I'm okay with greatest show on surf, for the record. Omar's a hater.
I think you can do better, G-Firm. I really do.
Omar,
it's got to be something hip and swaggy because your coach is hip and swaggy, man. Sean Williams, did you just do that one?
I did.
Okay, look at that. Hey guys,
thank you very much, Sean.
Would love to talk about possible sponsoring. Okay. Email or contact question is having heard from much about Win. Is that a good thing? Yeah, Win's all right. Yeah, Win's a good thing. Win is absolutely a good thing. Sean, my email is omarkelly33@gmail.com. We are working on that stuff right now. We're working on juicing up the show and improving social media and doing all different kinds of things. And you guys' contributions will definitely be used towards that and building built-in ads and doing reads and things of that nature. We're going to be a free agent in like a month in terms of finding a new podcast home. We opted out of our contract. So Poop is all nervous.
Why am I nervous? I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous. It's all good.
Like we're gonna be a free agent. We're building it on our own. We don't know what we want to do. We don't know how we want to be housed. We don't know. We're looking for people who are bringing things to the table. And if you're not bringing things to the table, I don't know if you're the right partnership for us. So
yeah, we bring the knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. We are figuring things out, as you can see, and I appreciate everybody for being on this ride with us and the journey with us.
I gotta highlight this when I'm not there. That's funny. I don't know how I feel about.
You do come off like Rain Man a lot.
I don't know how I feel about the Dolphin Rain Man nickname. It's part flattering, part insulting, so I don't know. Well, hold on. I got to address this. Dude, if Alain is arguing Lamar's a better quarterback, then he's not only wrong, but I have to question his football IQ. Raymond, when the hell did I say Lamar's a better quarterback? Then first of all, we're talking about passing here. Okay? And by the way, if you look at most...
You said fact. You said a fact.
I said a fact. He's got a better career passer rating than Tua. Not only that, if you look at all the preseason ranking of quarterbacks that were done through scouts, coaches, GMs and all that, who were quoted anonymously, but who obviously have the expertise. I hate to break it to you, but Lamar Jackson invariably came in higher than Tua.
There isn't a defensive coordinator who wouldn't fear Lamar Jackson more than Tua. There isn't one. So,
Raymond, sorry, but
that's the player.
That needs to go with that comment because
you know.
It's like, again, this is somebody getting in his feelings, hearing what he wants to hear. And by the way, I don't hate Tua at all. I don't.
What you do hate is you hate Tuanon, and you hate the fact that you cannot be at all critical of Tua. You cannot. You have to with Tuanon, and this is fair and this is true. And this is part of the reason why I'm not allowed on Tuanon's bandwagon. I'm a Tua. And people who have known me for a while know I'm absolutely obsessed with Tua and have been since he was at Alabama. But if you do not shower him with praise with Tuanon, it's not good enough. You can't say anything negative.
Oh my God.
Or you'll be attacked. And it's over. And that's what Poop despises.
I like nuance in my conversation. And I said this, it's not all. And there are those who actually, before this year started, they've been quiet, but who are like, Tua sucks no matter what. And there are those as Tua's in the Hall of Fame, greatest quarterback ever. Can it not be somewhere in the middle? Jesus. I mean, this one, dude, G-Firm. Oh, by the way, I love all three of your nicknames. They were completely awesome. Wanted to share. I grew up in Miami, Opelika, and spent many days in Montreal, just off of P9, Mr. Poupart. Now, what it is, LOL. You can reply in the comments. Please tell me you had a Dick Ann's burger.
Hold on. Question for you, G Firm, and anybody else who's been to Canada. I would like to go to Canada. What city, if I'm going to go to one city in Canada, what city would it be? And Poupart, I want an answer.
What city in Canada? Yeah. This is good. This is where I'm going to bow my head in shame, but I have not traveled in Canada very much at all outside of the province of Quebec. I've been like everywhere in the U.S., but I'm going to bow my head in shame. Montreal is absolutely fantastic. If you go in the summer. I couldn't even tell you. Quebec City is great. My family lives about an hour and a half outside of Quebec City. And by the way, I want to finish this quick point I was making to G Firm. Please tell me you've had Dick Ann's, which are burgers similar to White Castle. Those little mini burgers, completely outrageous.
White Castle's like diarrhea in a bun.
Okay. On that note, holy moly, isn't Baltimore undefeated like us? Yes, Baltimore is undefeated. Not only that, Baltimore coming off like a really nice win at Cincinnati. As Omar shrugging. And this is where somebody might say Baltimore's point differential is a lot better than that of the Dolphins. Okay. But again, it's two games in. So
Baltimore is always going to be a well-built team. They're always going to have a chance.
And, you were asking for a GM hire if the Dolphins ever move on from Chris Greer. Hire Ozzie Newsome get back in the game.
Ozzie Newsome has never left, and this is what people don't realize.
No, isn't he like a supervisor or consultant?
He's never left. He's always been there, and he's just not in name and title. He's still pulling the strings. People don't realize this, but it's true, and I'm stating fact.
Oh, and that dude is he was a Hall of Fame as a player, and he should be in the Hall of Fame as a what's the title they use?
Ozzie Newsome is my favorite person in the NFL, and he's never left the NFL. He's never left. If I go to the Senior Bowl, he's there, and he's working on behalf of the Baltimore Ravens. Draft day, he's there. He's working on behalf of the Baltimore Ravens. In the meeting rooms for draft prospects, he's there, and he's working on behalf of the Baltimore Ravens. While DaCosta has the title, Ozzie ain't never left.
Okay, so I wasn't quite sure about that, but no, the guy's.
No, wow. I that's not debatable. It's a fact. He's still in the draft room when they make a selection. So how did you leave your job?
Dude is brilliant. Dude is brilliant. I mean, Baltimore is one of the best organizations in the NFL. That's why they're usually always in contention. Last year or 2 years ago went off the rails because they had injuries. The Steelers are the same way. Steelers. I mean, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, which is completely crazy to me.
Those are well-run organizations. Seattle's a well-run organization. Pittsburgh, Seattle, Baltimore. I think that's where it stops. I would argue to you, and people get very uncomfortable when I do this. Dallas, talent evaluation, draft selection, quarterback development. Dallas is top-notch. Now, because they're the Cowboys and they take so much crap for being the Cowboys and the expectations always Super Bowl, you can say what you want. But tell me the last time they had to use a high resource on a quarterback. Pass rusher. They build their team well. Now, people don't want to listen to that because it's ran by Jerry Jones, but Reality,
No, but they're always overhyped, though. I mean,
they are. I mean, but they are. But they're the Cowboys. They're going to be overhyped. And by the way, the Cowboys are Tua's favorite team before he became a Dolphin. He grew up a Cowboys fan.
Okay, I got a G-Firm. I haven't had the burger. I've had poutine. They actually have it on the menu at McDonald's up there, and of course, had PFK. LOL inside joke. I know. That's funny. Poutine, for those who have never had it, completely outrageous. French fries, gravy, and cheese curds. And Omar's making a face. Try it before you knock it. It's very heavy, but it's really, really good.
Gravy on fries?
It's completely outrageous.
Potatoes, not my fries. And I don't do cheese.
That's right. M-Fair. Tip Dolphin fan from San Antonio. Love your show, guys, and always looking forward to you. Dolly Inside. This is how we do it. That's for you, Omar, right there.
And for the record, I don't despise that show anymore because I'm not going out every weekend, so I don't hear it every weekend.
The song, right?
Yeah. I don't despise This Is How We Do It anymore. Like, I'm not. Right now, I might despise a Disney song. The Moana song. Moana is the new movie that we're on. So
how far I'll go? That one?
No, you're welcome.
I like that song. That's a good song. The Rock.
I know. I think about Tua every time he scores. I think I sing the song from this would be cool for the Dolphins to play when he scores. They should play the Rock song, You're Welcome. If you haven't seen it, look it up on Moana, You're Welcome. The Rock sings it, and it's basically an arrogant song like, I did all of this for you because I'm great. And I think about Tua all the time when that song plays because he is great. All right, let's wrap it up, Poop.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Yeah, we've been at about an hour and a half, so enjoyed this. Arrow, even with all the arrows, I still getting in the comments here. It's all good. It's all good.
We will be back tomorrow. I'm going to the game, so I'm going to listen. I'm going to do the locker room, so we're probably going to be maybe 45 minutes after the game, do a live chat. Hopefully you guys will join us and be part of it. I know you got other live chats and other post-game shows that you want to be.
Yeah, but this is the live chat.
Yeah. I'm not going to even say that. I'm just going to be respectful to everybody else. And we do what we do, and we're unique and we're weird, and people like it. And we're just going to continue to do it. All right. Follow us.
Last one here. Thank you again, G Firm. Name for you all, the P.O. Box. That's
G Firm has always suggested. I always like the P.O. Box.
Unpacking everything Dolphins. That's good. That part's very good.
Wait a minute. I'm going to take a picture of that because I got to remember that.
That's good. Unpacking everything Dolphins. That's good. That
is good. The P.O. Box. All right. Look at that. I see you've been working on it, G Firm. You working on it. You good. See, now we need something a little swaggy for the offense. So give it a little thought.
Yeah, that's your assignment for next time, G Firm. Okay, again, I hope you like, subscribe, share, and all that. Again, look for our written content on alldolphins.com. And as Omar said, we're looking 5 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to do another.
That's a good time.
Talking about everything that's going to happen in that game tomorrow at Hard Rock Stadium, the 2023 home opener. Again, thanks everyone for being with us, for spending this time with us. Enjoyed it, Omar.
All right.
Enjoy. Have fun at the birthday party. Don't eat too much cake.
All right. Talk to you later.